Hello, everyone. Welcome to Applied Healthcare AI Summit. So this is Veysel, CTO of Johnson & Johnson. In this keynote, I'm going to cover building autonomous agentic workflows with the patient journey intelligence platform that we have been building at Johnson & Johnson for the last 1 year. So during this session, we will talk about how healthcare teams can build trustworthy agentic workflows on top of OMOP, and then connecting the patient journey intelligence tools and agents to no-code agentic environments like Claude Code, Cursor, Codex, etc. for real-world clinical AI workflows. Let's get started. So patient journey intelligence platform is designed for a secondary use of clinical data. And here is the high-level architecture. So it's the combination of multiple tools, and it's basically an application layer on top of everything that we have been building at Johnson & Johnson for the last 10 years. So we basically ingest a bunch of document types, like text data, multimodal data, DICOM data, etc. And then we ingest all these documents via AI-powered data creation workflow, which is a combination of multimodal information extraction, the identification, normalization, terminology mapping, so that we can end up in a OMOP schema, one single DB, with all these signals that we collect down the road while ingesting all these documents. And within the application, we have the agents, AI agents and tools to let you play with the data, do some analysis, basically using your clinical data for secondary purposes, for different researches, or for creating the data and then share with your own colleague, or extract some insights. So this platform is powered by Johnson & Johnson medical large language models and small language models. So the third-party application can also talk to this platform via MCP servers that we already buried inside the platform. So it has certain agents and apps that name like patient copilot that lets you talk to your own data, which is in OMOPDB, and you can build a cohort by chatting. You can extract certain attributes given some ontologies, and this is all happening within the same platform by using the underlying agents and tools. So this is a high-level architecture of the platform. So we have the connectors that let you connect your own EHR or unstructured notes or your local documents, and then you can basically you basically ingest all these documents with the data ingestion and processing pipelines, which are all can be scaled over different cloud platforms, by the way, or locally. We have like this is all scaled in a Kubernetes environment as well as a one single machine. You can do this as well, and everything is ending up in a one structured DB. We have golden, silver, and bronze layers that represents the different representation of your data. And then on top of this, we have an interaction application layer that you can play with your own data, extract insights, create cohorts, and then do a bunch of other processes like data creation. Since today's topic is not about introducing the PJI platform, which I will have another session by the end of this month, by the way, as a 1 hour long webinar. This is all about how to use the agents and tools within the PJI platform within your own workflow, own popular IDE like Codex or Claude Code. So this is the UI of the patient journey platform, and then the app is live, by the way. There are certain people already using and testing this, and then there are we have different versions that with the different role mechanism, so that you can run certain processes within your own credentials. But basically, during this summit, I'm going to cover the agents and tools that you see on the left side, right? Like how to build cohort, how to create a patient timeline, how to talk to your own data, and how to find patient cohorts given a clinical trial, inclusion and exclusion criteria, and so on. So not doing all of this on the UI, but doing this via MCP endpoints that we built on top of this. But let me introduce PJI briefly. So this is the data integration piece that you ingest the documents from different modalities. And when you ingest like EHR data, FHIR, text, DICOM, PDFs, we extract the information from all these documents and then normalize the terms, and then extract some medical terminology codes, and then the terms are normalized as well, so that everything is merged and duplicated in one single OMOP data model. And then you see a patient timeline, and then it allows you to talk to your own data within the platform. PJI also has medical terminology service, which is being used, which we use while ingesting the documents, as well as some some follow-up process, maybe any patient document you can process with terminology service and then extract more than 50 different medical terminology codes on the same UI. And then while the documents are being ingested, we collect all the signals and update certain clinical measures. We right now support 50 different clinical measures out of the box. And then these are all visualized, which means that all the patients within your own platform, if it's connected to your EHR, all these calculations are already done on the fly. And then you can even find some outstanding measures or see the timeline of certain important calculations. PJI comes with a very specialized and highly capable data creation service. It is like extracting certain attributes according to certain ontologies by just writing prompts, restrictions, permissible values, and it even returns contradictory and supporting evidences via provenance links so that you can find why, you can figure out why certain extraction is being done according to the model powering this data creation service. We are using Johnson & Johnson Medical large language models for this. We have a small version already embedded in the PJI that runs on one single GPU. Everything that you see here, by the way, runs on your on-prem with no internet access. So you can create a cohort because since everything is in your own DB right now, like all the unstructured documents are already ingested and then represented in your one OMOP schema, you can right now create a cohort because all the signals are already collected while documents are being ingested, right? So we already know which document has which information inside, and we have the deduplicate merge version in OMOP schema. So you can create a cohort by just filtering these signals by ICD-10 codes, NOMAD codes, or just typing a few words, and then you will find the documents belonging to certain patients so that they can meet the criteria that you look for. You can basically say that give me all the patients who had X-ray in the last 6 months, right? You can even do this within this UI, or you can just chat and then create a cohort, or build via filters. The identification is a most popular solution that Johnson & Johnson offers right now, and then we already integrated this solution into PJI as well, by the way. So within like all the documents that you have within this platform, you can apply custom identification. This covers DICOM pixel level identification as well, by the way, not just metadata. So you mask, obfuscate, you can use your own identification pipeline powered by healthcare NLP, like healthcare NLP library. And you can even do some review or assign some team members to review the identification or even fix your identification before you run this over millions of documents. This identification service is very important for the MCP service as well, because when you connect the PJI, you don't want any third-party application to get any PJI data outside of the platform without obfuscating the data, only keeping the clinical insights that their own tools can see, by the way. And this is the PJI Assistant that lets you talk to your own data. So it basically is a assistant chatbot on top of your own DB that you can just ask questions and then get results instantly. It is powered by the same LLM, which is GSL Medical LLM. And then it returns some explanations as well for your own query, and not just returning a table or query. You can even see the raw query that this chatbot generates to pull the data from your DB. You can ask follow-up questions, save chat, just like any chatbot experience, right? And this is so now I'm entering into agents and tools. So we have clinical practice guideline tools, like we index all the popular clinical practice guidelines provided by Guidelines Central. And then you can, like we built a agentic tool on top of the guidelines so that you can talk to these guidelines and then learn about how to treat type 2 diabetes for the kids younger than 12 years old, etc. It will return grounded results from this practice guidelines rather than doing web search. You can even type some NCT ID for the clinical trials, and then it will calculate the inclusion and exclusion criteria at first, extract them, and then hit the PJI Assistant to return the patients hitting these criteria. And then you will be able to even change the relationship between the criteria as well, so that you can create cohorts for certain clinical trials. So how to use all these tools, because this is the main topic of this talk, right? How to use all these agents and tools within your own favorite tools like Claude Code, Codex, Cursor, etc. So we will use MCP for this. MCP, we already have an MCP server baked in within PJI platform. Like it's an MCP server running inside PJI. If the PJI is running on your on-prem, you can connect your own tools to PJI. This is not a SaaS, right? So this is an on-prem platform that you can talk to with the URL that when you install this on your on-prem. It's basically translate your request that you do within your own tool. Let's say Claude Code. I'm going to use Claude Code most of the time, by the way, during this presentation. It translates your request into standardized protocols to talk to MCP, and then MCP talks to the tools and agents within the PJI. So everything happens inside PJI, and then your favorite tool, your IDE, is just the orchestration layer. So we basically build manager of managers here, by the way. So we are using these tools as an orchestrator, but everything, all the calculations, all the secret sauce happens inside PJI without exposing any sensitive data. So how do we manage this? So right now we support Claude Code, Claude Desktop, Cursor, everything that you see on the upper left corner. So within PJI, you create a access token within your own credentials, and it returns some configuration JSON file, and then you just upload this configuration into your Claude Code as a connector. In the Cursor as well as a connector or MCP endpoints. Even if you have this JSON inside your folder, the Cursor or Claude Code will recognize and then try to list all the endpoints that PJI offers, by the way. And all the activities that you do on your own IDE can be logged and traced and is auditable inside PJI platform. So when you do something within your own notebook, all the activities that you do here are traceable and auditable within PJI platform audit logs as well. So you basically make a talk to PJI via standard way of you are talking to your own tools, and then our MCP server translates everything and then pulls the right tools given your request. Like if you say that, give me all the diabetes patients as if you are on PJI UI, you can do this within your own notebook, by the way, or Cursor or Claude Code. So these are certain tools and agents. So we have a large documentation within PJI app. You can go ahead and then check this. You can, we have a demo account as well that you can check. So we basically offer all these MCP endpoints out of the box. That one single JSON that you create during registration will have an access to all these endpoints. And then when you read all this, you will know how to accomplish certain things. Like basically whatever you do on the UI by clicking, by going to a different sequence on PJI platform can be done. Most of them can be done via talking within your own Claude Code or Cursor as well. So Claude Code architecture is already well known, right? But the reason that I put this diagram here is that these kind of architectures, the model is just one single small piece of the entire architecture, because the agent means, as you know, model and harness around the model, right? So the harness and then the orchestration layer around the model matters more than the model itself. So that we can use the reasoning capability of the model while delegating everything into a more controllable, more open box orchestration layer. Of course, in Claude Code, we don't know what's happening. We know due to some, the recent leakage, right? But these kind of agentic platforms are usually a black box that you may not know, you may not trust connecting your own sensitive patient data, right? But what we are going to do here today is using the orchestration layer as a manager of managers, so that everything, all the calculations, all the analysis, and touching the raw data happens inside PJI platform, but you use the easiness of these platforms that you use on your own daily workflows, right? So this is how it would look like at the end of the day. So as you see, the majority of this page is explaining the PJI platform, but on top of this, we have an orchestration layer here, which is today it's Claude Code, but we have the Cursor, Codex, etc. as well. You basically use Claude Code via CLI or Claude Code Desktop, and then everything happens inside PJI when you talk to PJI through MCP endpoints. So basically, PJI uses a multi-layered automated governance framework to redact or mask data before it ever reaches the user interface or the MCP orchestration layer. So which means that we are not, because Claude Code or this kind of frameworks or environments or IDEs can be used with local LLMs as well, as you know. So we try to make sure that these platforms never sees the raw PJI database, which is PHI, and it only sees the high-level insights returned by the PJI tools. And I'm going to show you some examples, and everything you see over there is already obfuscated by PJI. So this platform, this IDE, the Claude Code only sees the insights, which is the medical insights returned through these analyzers. Okay, so let's see some examples. So for instance, in Claude Code, when you do the MCP registration with that one single JSON file, you can basically say that, okay, give me a population health overview. So all the charts that you see in this screen is already coming from PJI. So all these numbers, etc., are coming from PJI, but the visualization is done by Claude Code, like, or Cursor, right? So because it has its own agents to do this kind of visualization, because in any desktop app, right, PJI is a desktop app. Actually, it's a web app that has its own visualization right inside, which is hard-coded by the developer of PJI. But in your own code editor or IDE or your framework, you may want to do more than this, right? You don't want to see just the charts that we offer in PJI. Claude Code already offers some built-in charting capabilities, which is like the numbers, the insights, everything is already coming from PJI. For instance, this is a population health dashboard on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, you see a patient timeline for one single patient. So all this information are already obfuscated, by the way, when it's pulled from MCP endpoints. So all you need to do is just doing whatever you have been doing with Claude Code or Cursor, and then you hit for this kind of analysis for PJI. So all the analysis is happening inside PJI. All the visualization and summarization or condensation or comprehension, let's say, is done by Claude Code itself. By the way, I collected all the statistics before the call. So when if you want to test, you can also test as well if you have an access to TPJ. Or PJI, you sometimes call it total patient journey, but it's patient journey intelligence platform. As I said, you can do some clinical trial eligibility, like you can create a cohort based on certain eligibility criteria dictated by a clinical trial. So you can basically ask, find eligible patient with clinical trial XYZ, right? And then it returns all the eligibility criteria and how many patients match. In this example, it is 90 patients. And then you can see much richer visualization within Claude Code. You can even, like, this is very nice, by the way, you can even run some care gap analysis, right? Since we have an access to clinical practice guidelines inside PJI, which are grounded, right? And then you have the patient data, you have the patient journey as well, which means that now I can find the care gap. If I know the primary diagnosis of the patients, and then if I ask practice guideline how to treat such a patient, and if I check the follow-up treatments of the same patient within the same platform, I can basically map. Like, so the AI can just, like LLM powering this platform, can basically condense this information and then do all this care gap analysis on the fly. Right. So right now, just for Mary Parker, one single patient, it returned 3 critical gaps. These gaps are coming from practice guidelines, by the way. So it is already grounded. And then how it is being done, it is just checking the recommended treatment written in the practice guideline, and then just trying to see if it's actually done in the follow-up treatments or not. You can even do CMS coverage, because Claude Code already offers CMS coverage connector. You can even see which treatments or medications are covered by CMS, etc. as well within the same class. You can also do patient registry. So this is a specific data creation logic that we baked in. There is another specific session during the summit about cancer registry, by the way. One of our colleagues will present that. But you can even trigger that logic from this UI, and then everything still happens in PJI. And then you see on the right screen, right of your in the full cancer registry extraction. And then like 3 distinct primary cancers detected for that patient, and then all this histology, TNM stages, etc., all extracted according to our patient registry workflow that is running inside PJI. So I did some nice analysis just to show the difference. Like, you may say that, okay, you can extract ICD-10 codes of certain diagnoses within Claude itself without using PJI, right? So I did the same analysis. On the left, you see Claude Sonnet 4.6. I pasted some 12 conditions, and I asked return ICD-10 codes of these 12 conditions. And then it returned all these codes by using its own search engine, like web search or some parametric knowledge. But on the right-hand side, I did the same, still in Claude, but using PJI MCP endpoint, so that it uses PJI terminology server when I ask these questions. So you see there are some differences between these two outcomes. I didn't even extract the condition. I just gave the conditions to make sure that which terminologies are correct. Then on the left, still the answers from Claude itself without using PJI. And on the right, the comparison between these two results. Like my code means that Claude says that I return an 18.6 and PJI returns the same. So it's a perfect match. But there are some discrepancies, like we found 4 discrepancies out of 12 right now. And then it says PJI is more specific because it explicitly encodes calcified coronary lesion. And in another example, it returns a different code, which is more correct. And then, as you see, it says that PJI returns more specific lateralized code, and Claude's own training reflects older vocabulary. It already accepts that it has an older vocabulary, even if it has a web access, right? And then at the bottom, it says 4 differences are found, and then PJI wins on each one of them. So this is the beauty of using PJI within your own framework, within your own tool, but all the results are grounded already within the framework of PJI itself. Right? So you can do the same with Cursor as well. Like by coding, like let's say that you are doing some biomedical analysis for diabetic patients and medications. Yeah, at the same time, you can open the chat screen, you can connect MCP server, and then you can talk to as well. Like you can basically say that, okay, give me all the medications prescribed for these patients via PJI MCP endpoint so that I can see if there is any drug-drug interaction according to my own analysis. So this is done with Cursor, by the way. It can be done Claude Code as well or Codex as well. So this is what I wanted to cover during this session. So basically, patient journey intelligence within this scenario act as a governed clinical operating system that executes complex agents for tasks like clinical trial matching, data creation, and everything happens within your own prem with your own data. And if you use third-party tools and applications like Claude Code or Cursor, and then connect to PJI via MCP endpoints as a high-level orchestrator, you can basically automate these sophisticated workflows through a unified chat interface that you are already very familiar with, while ensuring all the sensitive analysis and PHI remains strictly within the private infrastructure. Everything that I showed here can be done on the PJI as well, like as an application when you have it. But if you want to use it via MCP endpoints and then get benefits of its own grounded results and workflows powered by own GSL medical LLMs, this is a perfect use case building autonomous agentic workflows. I hope you enjoyed the session and you enjoyed the rest of the summit as well. Thank you.